Hi, and happy Monday. I'm Janet Leonard. I'm the founder and CEO of Virtual Instructor. And every Monday, I come to you for about 15 minutes of some kind of software tip or trick. So today, I'm going to talk about the notes feature in Microsoft Outlook. And you may not be aware of it, but I find it really handy because sometimes you get all those little yellow sticky notes all over your desk and it's kind of hard to find them. So now rather than writing those little yellow stickies, I can go over to the notes section and put that in. So that's where you have something that doesn't really fall into a to-do item. It's not something you're emailing. It's not a calendar date, but it's something you don't want to lose track of. You want to easily be able to find it. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So before we get started, I'm going to pop over to Virtual Instructor site because a lot of people ask me now, how do I find your Monday lives? Well, every time I generate the new live I use StreamYard, it gives me a unique URL. So I do post them on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. But if you want to get a reminder every Monday at 10 o'clock, just before, about an hour before, that's the only time I send an email to you on that one, you can go to virtualinstructor.com, go to our Monday live calendar, and just fill in your name and email address. And promise I won't spam you. I just get an email once a week with whatever the current topic is and the link, and then what's coming up. So just so you know, next week is actually a holiday, but I will still be doing a Monday live. And since it's Memorial Day, I will be talking about some cool sites I found that honor Memorial Day. So if you're interested with that. And then the following week, I also have a lot of people asking me, how can I do a video on Zoom? I know I can have it record, but how do I look like I'm talking to people? So I have some little tricks that I've developed and I've shown people. So I'll share them with you on June 6th. All right, enough of that. And I'm going to pop over to my Outlook. I'm just in my calendar right now. But when you want to get to the notes, you can go down toward the bottom left of your screen. And if you have this little pane showing, this is the folder pane. So you want to make sure you're showing that. Down at the bottom, you'll see three little dots. So if you click on that, then it gives you some other options. And one of them is notes. So if I click on notes, then it takes me into my notes area. And you can see I have quite a few notes. I've color coded them to make them quick, so I can quickly find them. This is definitely not difficult, but I just think it's a great feature. So when you want to do a new note, in the upper left corner, there's a little button called New Note. So all you have to do is click on it. By default, it gives you a yellow note, but of course we can change the color. So then you can put in whatever kind of note you want. It can be short, it can be long, it can be whatever you want. So I'm going to say my new note. Now the reason I'm doing that, I'm going to go ahead and hit enter a couple times, and then I'll just put some stuff in, right? You can put links, whatever it is that you need to do. Then when you want to close it, you just close your little note. Now, of course, this time it didn't do it. But usually what will happen is, oh, that's just a blank note. That would be why. Usually you'll then see whatever your first line is. Now I'm looking at, there it is down here. It says my new note. So if I double click on it, it's whatever that first line is that would be your new note. All right, now I want to go ahead and change the color. So see the little tiny note in the upper left corner. You can just click on it and I can save it as something else, but I want to go ahead and change the color. So if you're not familiar with the categorize option in Outlook, Outlook allows you to categorize your calendar, your emails, your to-do items, your notes into colors that make sense for you. And you can also make your own custom one. So I have one called Holiday. I'm involved with some women business groups. And so these organizations, I've got colors for that. I use youcanbookme.me for my scheduling. So I've made my own. And so this first one, I'll just go ahead and I'll just make it orange, just a plain old orange category. And I'm not going to rename it right now. I'm just going to say, yeah, just name it orange, make it orange. So there's my little note, right? But if I wanted to, I could categorize this. So I could go back into my note. I just double clicked on it, go back over to the little note icon, go to categorize, and I can create my own category. So See where it says all categories? You'll also see this in lots of places. Hi, Rod. Good to see you. Glad you were able to make it to the Monday Live. So in the all categories, and I mentioned this in some of the other lives, but if you ever see something in on a button or a menu that has, or an item that has 3 dots following it, then that always tells you that there's going to be a dialog box coming up. So when I see all categories ... I know if I click on it, I'm going to get some other options to choose from. So again, if you see all categories anywhere within Outlook, this is going to work the same way. But you might already guess if you want to create something new. So I'm going to call it new, and I'm going to call it test category. How creative was that? Then I can come give it any color that I want. I think I'm going to go with the pink. And if I want, I can actually assign it to a keyboard shortcut that would be used when I'm in Outlook. I'm going to leave that alone, and I'll just choose OK. And now I have my new category, test category. And now my little note is pink, and it's associated with my test category. When I click out of it, it goes away. All right, so I use this a lot. Those of you, I think a lot of people are now in Zoom a lot. And one of the things people always say is, hey, put your information in the chat. Well, I've gone ahead and made a couple of mine. So all I have to do is double click on it, highlight it, and then I can paste it into chat. So I don't have to go typing it in again or any of that sort of stuff. All right, now, I think you can guess if you don't want a note, you can delete it. So this one happens to be blank, right? So I can just go ahead and select it, choose delete. Obviously, you can right click and choose delete as well. Now, over in the current view, I'm viewing my notes as icons, but you can click on notes list. So it simply changes the way you see your notes. And by the way, you might notice that I have one of my notes actually has 2 colors associated with it. You can associate a note, a to-do item, an email, a calendar item with more than one category. So then when you're listing the categories, you actually see all the colors that it's associated with and the name of the category. So this one is Webeck West Forum, LA, and personal. This one up here is test category and orange category. So that sometimes makes it kind of nice when you have something that doesn't fit in just one bucket. Alrighty, now another thing you can do, and by the way, you can sort them by the categories. This is categories, no categories, or by here's all my green categories. I can sort it by the date created, down pointing. If you notice, that goes from 22 down to 21. So that's the latest date. Click on it again, and I think it does change. There you go. I just clicked too much. Then it goes the opposite, the earliest date down to the latest. And the same thing with your subjects. Okay. Now you also have this 7 days. So you can see the notes that you created or edited in the last 7 days. So that can be kind of helpful as well. All right, there's not a heck of a lot more to notes than that. But one thing, I'll just go back to the icons. One thing that's kind of nice is since I go to notes quite often, rather than having to go down to the little 3 dots and clicking on it and choosing notes, which is not all that hard, right? But you could just go to navigation options. And when I click on that, I can take notes and I can say, you know what? I use notes more than I use maybe the people and the tasks. So I can just click on this and move it up. And then when I choose OK, now when I look at this little folder pane, and I can tell this is called the folder pane because if I hover over this, it says minimize the folder pane, right? So if I go here now, I can just quickly, I'll go back to my calendar. I can go back to my notes. So it makes it very easy. One thing that is not all that easy, where you see this new items, I don't know if you know about this, but this is a really fast way where you can jump between, maybe I'm in calendar and I want to go to contact or a meeting, a whole variety of things. I can go down, whole variety of things to choose, but they don't give me the notes. So that's kind of annoying. That's why I like it down here. Final thing I'll show you, and we'll start wrapping up, is if I go back to the 3 little dots, go back to navigation options. If I want to put it back to the original order, all I have to do is click reset. And now I can choose OK, and it's back to the default order, just in case you're reading a book or something, or you have somebody talking about something online. Now it's back to the order that most people see it. Alrighty. So This is a kind of a short one today, but hopefully you found it helpful. And hopefully you find the using the little notes feature helps save a tree, right? So plus you won't lose things on your desk if you have lots of sticky notes. So those of you, and I do have some friends that love sticky notes, hopefully you'll find this as a nice, maybe potential alternative for you. All right. And I see a comment from Rod. He says notes can be exported in a CSV format. Yep. And then, or commented delimited. And so I have not tried exporting it, but it sounds like you already tried it. So 9 times out of 10, you can export pretty much anything out of Outlook. So wonderful. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. And next week, when it's officially Memorial Day, I will be highlighting some sites that really focus on Memorial Day. So I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. And oh, Rod was asking, I assume you can. I don't know how to do it off the top of my head, but most likely you would go over to options. And I don't really want to go to my options right now and be able to export it that way. In fact, I'm almost 100% sure. Let me just see. I'll go over to file and I'll go to options, and I think it's under advanced. If I scroll down toward the bottom, you've got the export. And if I go to export over here, let's just see if I'm right. So this is all the different ways that you can export data. So I want to export it to a file, and then I will choose next. And I want comma separated. PST is the actual format that Outlook wants. So you want comma separated. And then next, now we should be able to come on down here, and most likely we can find our notes. I'm not sure where it is. So you're going to have to kind of look around to find your notes. I don't really want to stay in here too long. And then once you find notes, then you can export it out. So I think that will be doing it for you. So hopefully that answered your question, Rod. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week. And maybe I'll see you next week, or enjoy the Memorial Day weekend. Bye.